Bit different this week. We're recording on the hoof, on the sail.
Do you know, I've been wanting to do a podcast like this for ages. Because it reminds me of when we did our first series of podcasts 15 years ago.
India or in the Red Sea.
Yeah. Well, when we left Turkey and went all the way down the Red Sea into India. And all of that was done mobile, wasn't it? When we were exploring places and as we were sailing.
Yes, we didn't film it. We just recorded into our little hand recorder. And so we started up in Egypt, went all the way through to India. And then even in India, we did the same, didn't we? We weren't filming, just recording.
Just audio. So if you're interested in that, go and check those out. But
on our website, they can find them.
Yes, but I thought, doing a podcast while we're moving would be good fun.
Yeah.
But I guess before we continue, the first thing we should do is just put this in context with our vlogs, because people might start getting confused, mightn't they? So where are we with the vlogs then?
With the vlogs, had we left Madana? Are we still there?
No, we're still there.
Okay, so I think we should do a big concertina catch-up, because between leaving Madana and getting down to Shakedown, which is the southwestern corner of Lombok, there's months and months of not really very much happening.
That's the problem. So you'll have noticed we haven't been putting so much stuff out, and that's partly because after we leave Madana and go back in the water, there's a few months of really not much happening, is there?
No, I mean, we lived our lives on our boat. We went along doing the usual daily stuff, but we don't think that's really worthy of an episode, is it?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I just think we kind of thought there's no point in just putting out stuff just for the sake of it, just to chase that YouTube algorithm. We just didn't feel comfortable just, turning the camera on ourselves and talking bollocks for 20 minutes, which I know we do a lot of.
And we're doing that right now. I'm generally fed up with people, great big heads in front of me, talking at me on everything, on whatever subject it is, but it's definitely sailing channels and definitely some of the other channels I follow. I'd much rather be behind the camera and have the camera showing you what you're seeing. I think that's much more interesting. I don't want to see my bloody great head all the time. So so there's going to be a lot less of that.
Yeah, I think what Liz is saying is in the future we're going to be looking more towards doing, I suppose, more sort of documentary style stuff rather than just straightforward vlogging.
It will be nice. It depends where we are, what we're doing. So my you started off with where are we with the episodes, with the vlog, and I think that we've left Madana and we've got the boat up to scratch. She's looking fantastic. She's great. She's ready to rock. She's ready to go, and she's never been better, actually. So that was earlier in the year, much earlier in the year. But we couldn't go anywhere. Because the wind was all wrong.
Yeah, so just in case you don't know, the last time we got a decent sail in, which is what we're doing today, was when we started developing our steering problems returning from Flores. And that was actually a year ago. Yeah. Can you believe it? A year ago.
We've been delayed by a year.
And of course, there's two main issues. First of all, we had to haul out. And the second thing, of course, is waiting for the season. Oh, and thirdly, visas.
Visas, yeah.
So.
And your trip home?
Yes, these all conspired against us and have delayed us. So this is why it's absolutely fantastic to be getting sails out, turning that engine off and sailing up the coast. But just so you don't get confused, we still have just maybe 2 or 3 more episodes regarding leaving Madana, finishing off on the rudder, dropping back in the water, and then maybe 1 or 2 episodes just finishing off down in the southwest.
Well, I'm in disagreement with you, but you, the viewers and listeners, will see what's going on, because I would like to come right smack bang up to date and to use this 1,200 nautical miles sail to Malaysia as fortnightly real-time updates, just to get away from all that stuff that happened ages ago. I'm bored with it. I don't want to see it all again. We've lived it. It was ages ago. I mean, as long as we've got, as long as we've got the rudder on and we're splashing back, let's just do it. Let's do a 2-minute catch-up of a year's worth and then just get on with these, fortnightly podcast updates, real-time updates. Yes. What do you think, folks? Let us know.
Yeah, the thing is, I was reading back through some comments and quite a lot of comments on that 1.5 hour chat I did for the Royal Photographic Society. And a lot of people really liked that format. So the point being is that we have got quite a lot of photographs that we've been taking, and not just my photography either. Liz has been doing some photography as well, which we keep alluding to, your shell project.
Oh yeah.
And so these are the things that we have been doing whilst down that
Yes.
end of Lombok.
Yeah.
And I think they are worthy of exploring just a little, perhaps, don't you think?
We'll find out. If people follow us, they'll find out who won the argument.
So today we are heading up the coast. This is on the west side of Lombok. It's a short hop today. It's only 20 or so miles, but it's actually the perfect distance and the perfect weather to do a little shakedown, really.
Yes, it is. Now, so since we left the marina, we've not really done very much sailing other than up and down the coast of Lombok, the western coast of Lombok, and around Shakedown at the bottom. Not really very much at all, but it's been enough to do the initial shakedown. So that, the autopilot is working beautifully. Steering is just divine. Hasn't been this good for ages.
Yeah.
So we do kind of know that it should be all okay. I mean, if anything, I think were to go wrong now, it's going to be something new that we haven't thought about.
There's
Got
always
1,200 miles
something.
to find out.
Always something. I mean,
Yeah.
that's at the back of my mind is what's going to go wrong next.
Yeah.
But I think I've had enough of thinking and feeling like that, this
Yeah.
anxiety. And so today has been for me just a real positive, right, we're moving, here's the beginning of our next adventure.
Yeah.
And I have to say, there's always a little bit of anticipation before a big journey, but
Yeah.
actually I'm filled more with excitement.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So we're going to be going to some places we haven't been before. I
Yep.
mean, we've been over on this side of the planet for ages and we've never been to Bali. To be honest, on purpose.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too commercial for our taste, but we will be going to Bali for at least one anchorage or two.
I think at least two, actually.
At least
yeah.
two anchorages.
Yeah.
So we'll see a little bit of Bali. We've met Balinese people on Lombok. It's supposed to be a very different island. It's, it's a big tourist island and it's Hindu, where we've been surrounded by our Muslim friends on Lombok, which is quite different. So there's a definitely a different feel to the place. So for the small amount of time we'll be there, we'll have a look round and see what it's all about, I think.
Yeah. We've got to at least visit one anchorage, haven't
Yeah.
we? It'd be
Yeah.
silly not to.
Yeah.
But as you say, we have kind of done it on purpose. But of course, the other thing as well is that I think the best bit for anchoring is along the top of the coast, which is only really accessible during the southeast monsoon, which is now.
Yeah.
When it's blowing in the other direction, there isn't really anywhere decent to anchor there anyway. So,
Yeah.
we're doing the right thing and going to go and check it out.
Might be a good time then to explain why we've been delayed for a year better. Obviously the delay you've all seen if you've been watching has been the mechanical problems which we had to get sorted out. But then we got delayed because of the seasons.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, I was chatting to Danny, who's one of the guys that runs the Warrung down on Gili Sudak, where we've just been, and we were discussing the 2 seasons they have here versus the 4 seasons we have in the Northern Hemisphere, where we come from at least. And the 2 seasons here is really lots of wind from one direction or lots of wind from the other direction, but also with quite a bit of rain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's the monsoon we've seen out is that what is normally a wet one, but actually
Yeah.
this year, because of El Nino, there really wasn't much rain at all,
Very
was there?
dry. It was a real problem for people on Lombok for farming and so forth. They didn't have enough water. We saw loads of dried up riverbeds, and quite often walking along the beach where the rivers would join the beach, just nothing there. So it has been a real problem. But the problem for us, of course, was we can't go where we want to go in that season. You just can't do it unless you've got a great big powerful motor.
No, you could do it. It is entirely
I mean,
possible
you can-
to do it, but we don't want to. I think that's the important thing. We do know of people that have gone up the Java Sea in the northwest, and it must
I
just
don't
be
know how they do it.
It's just a shitty journey.
You've got to just be doing this. If you
Yeah.
can't sail, you just cannot get sail.
Well,
in.
and if you are sailing,
You're
as you say,
tacking
you're
like that.
literally tacking like this. I can't be bothered with that. I'd much prefer to hang out down here for 6 months and wait for the correct wind, to be honest.
But it's the currents. You've got the currents against you,
Yeah.
and they're big. And then you've got on the Java Sea, you've got the waves as well. So you've got wave currents and wind against you. And nobody in their right mind would attempt to sail up there. You can tack if you're lucky. Choose your moments. There are plenty of places to anchor, so you could find somewhere to wait out until it's okay to go again, I suppose.
I mean, that's the thing. Normally, you get days of no wind, you get patches, but I have to say, actually, in the southeast monsoon, it's pretty consistent, isn't it?
Supposedly.
This wind we've been getting. And funny enough, actually, this is the one day with the least amount of wind. We think, we don't actually know because we can't measure our wind speed, but it's probably anything between 8 and 12 knots at the moment.
Yeah,
which
so
means we're just doing a nice gentle 4.5, maybe hitting 5 knots.
Yeah. So you've given away that we have got one problem. It's our wind speed has gone. I don't really care about that, as long as we've got direction.
We should explain how that happened.
Do we know? Do we really know?
I think we do.
Do you think it was that big 60-knot blower?
It's more than 60 knots. Back in March,
On his birthday.
on my birthday, on the one day we decide to spend a night ashore at Galley on the next island.
We never do it normally. It was a sort of birthday treat.
Yep, my birthday. We got hit by an horrendous squall. I mean, it was the villagers of of Asahan said it's the strongest wind they've ever seen.
In living memory from anyone in the village.
Yep.
Never seen anything like it.
Yep.
I mean, we felt it on G'day in a neighbouring island, and in fact it went on all night, but we didn't get that. Did we get that 60, 70 knotter through where we were?
Well, we were on the lee
Yeah.
of Galley, but we were still aware.
In a
it
room.
woke me up at 4 in the morning. Anyway, a couple of boats dragged, and a couple of friends who were at the anchorage said they clocked well over 60 knots. And I suspect it was probably that squall that has done something to our Windex.
Right. Okay.
But we've got direction.
Yeah, we've got direction. That's really all that matters. I don't care. You can tell if it's too strong. If it feels too much, just, wind the sails in a bit. That's not really a problem. You can feel that with your nose. To be honest, you can also feel direction with your ears. So if you don't have either, it's not the end of the world, really.
No, you've got your telltales to know if you set the sail at the right angle. I mean, let's face it, we've been doing this long enough to know how to set the sails without having to look at anything to do with the wind. So, as you say, it's not a big deal.
It's not bad enough to stop us from going.
No, I always say depth is the
around
thing.
this.
It's the one thing you need is depth.
Around this, in this area, in this part of the world, lots and lots of reefs everywhere. And also not just by the land, right out in the middle. So you've got to have good radar. I mean brain radar, eye radar, whatever I mean. Navionics. It's got nothing else. We have to use that. Alpine thing.
Alpine Quest,
Satellite.
our satellite images, yes. So we tried to. You have to excuse me. Of course, we are sailing, so
Yeah.
I have to check out for fishermen. Although the fishermen will have come in by now. They tend to go out at night. And you've seen them in our videos before. They they make sails out of plastic tarps, and they can pick up quite a speed when they sail across between Bali and
When they all
Lombok.
come together, it's quite intimidating. They're not intimidating, but they ain't going to change their direction. You've got to change yours. Fair enough, their country.
So normally on a podcast, Liz, we have a theme. You like to have a theme, don't you? What would today's theme be if there is one?
Well, I thought that our theme was going to be, we were going to talk about why you get delayed. And we've really done that. I don't know, is there anything else to say on that?
Not really. I think we should just focus more on the excitement of going somewhere new and starting on a new adventure, because, as I said, the last time we got a decent sailing was a year ago, and that was when we developed problems with the boat. And this will be the first time that we've actually been somewhere new in over a year as well.
Yeah, so Bali, obviously. And then there's some little islands to the north of Bali that look lovely. Never been there.
So these are right in the middle of the Java Sea. If you know where Surabaya is the industrial area of Java. It's right on the eastern tip. The first island above that, out in the Java Sea, is called Bawin. And that's going to be our first port of call, sort of away from land, I suppose.
Yes, it's a little kind of tiny archipelago of islands, isn't it?
Yeah.
That looks lovely. Looks very interesting. So hopefully we'll be able to, because we're not going to zoom up there. We've got plenty of time on our visas before we need to be leaving, actually officially leaving Indonesia. So we should be able to get some shore trips, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. And we've got a friend he's sort of a month ahead of us, and he said that Bali he didn't want to leave.
Is this Ray?
Yeah. Yeah, he apparently loved the place. After Bali, there is another set of islands.
Yeah.
It's got lots of red dotted lines around
Yeah.
it, I did notice, but I think we can stay there just at least for the night, just to break up that journey.
It doesn't say no anchoring, does it?
No, it's just
no fishing.
It's a restricted area.
Yeah.
Yeah, no fishing. And then after that, that's our longest stint is after the second island, getting to Belitung, which it's over 200 odd miles. So it's going to take a couple of days or so.
Yeah.
And once we get to that point, then we're back into territories where we have sailed once before.
Yes, and we did that. We did that after we did our trip off of the Mentawai Islands. We came round and came through, and we stayed in Krakatoa and up through Java and Thousand. Yes, that way. So I'm trying to remember when that was. 2019.
It was about that. It was
5 years ago.
A few years ago. Yes.
Yeah,
Pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting, but while I've got you here, if you like what we do and you want to support us and become a Patreon, or join us on FTP Mates, or even drop a quid in the rum fund, go to followtheboat.com/pub. Of course, come to the pub.
The action cam overheated, so we had to stop recording there, but it was an appropriate time to finish, and I just thought, since we're doing this kind of semi-live, just give you a little view of what we can see as we sail up the coast of Lombok. So I'll just flick the camera around. I was a little bit cautious with the mainsail. I just put 2/3 of it out because I wasn't sure what the wind was going to do. And of course we've got the Yankee out, as you can see, just pulling us along nicely. To be honest, it's possibly code 0 weather. It's probably about the right wind speed for the code 0, which is down here. So we've got that ready. And then of course we've got the mizzen out too. And you can see it's a lovely day. Nice scudding clouds and enough sunshine to top up those solar panels. And as we go down below, I think someone is probably going to be making a cup of tea. One thing you'll note is that it's nice and clean in here. Look at this. Okay, we're just finishing off, Elizabeth.
Okay, well, it could be a lot cleaner, to be honest. It's neat. And the reason we've got that fan down on the floor there is because it gets really hot down here. But if we started to really heal, I'd be running down, I'd be putting a few of these things away. But at the moment, it's fine. It's all very easy. This is the galley, which you will have seen before, and you'll see now, as we're moving left and right, why it's such a good idea to have a long galley like this, because you're totally fixed. You can reach every side easily. This is on a gimbal, so when I'm cooking it's fine. Got some stuff in the sink, I've got some fruit for later. Yeah, we could have a cup of tea, or would you prefer some coffee?
I think I could do with another coffee actually.
So I'll make some coffee. We use one of these for our coffee. Apparently if you watch YouTube you're obsessed with coffee, so I'm told. So it's an Italian design. So you open it up and you put the grinds in here and it forces the water through. So it's a kind of espresso.
That's actually English.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Stellar. Oh, okay. So yeah, so this is supposed to be enough for 6 or maybe 8 people, because it's espresso really, isn't it?
12, I think, is the official measurement.
Yeah.
12 espressos.
And what it does is it gives 2 Jamie-sized coffees. Because I don't really drink it very much. I tend to stick with tea, and I've got a whole thing of tea in there. So yeah, here we are. Probably won't need to cook today until we get there, I think.
Yeah.
Up to you. If you want me to, I can. I've got the rice out ready. I'm going to do fried rice.
Well, I think we should wrap it up now because I need to go back up and just check, because there's no one up in the cockpit. So anyway, I hope you liked this format of podcast. If you did, let us know what you think. We could do some more like this. They're quite good fun, and because we've got the mobility of the action cam and the remote mics, it's all quite easy to do. So anyway, thank you for tuning in, and the next publication will be our next vlog, where hopefully we will wrap up all the things that went wrong with our steering, and we may even get back in the water. Bye!
Bye!